The NBA has a Christmas problem. Christmas is the marquee day of the NBA regular season with 5 games played annually, and many people calling it the true start of the NBA season. Over the years, we've gotten such classics as Kobe and Shaq's first game as opponents when the Heat played the Lakers in 2004, and the Golden State Cleveland rematch in 2016 featuring KD for the first time. But ratings for Christmas Day games have steadily been dropping since 2018, and they reached an all-time low last year at 2.86 million viewers across all 5 games. The biggest reason for that is the NFL played 3 games on Christmas last year, which averaged over 28.3 million viewers across the board. Even the highest rated regular season game of last year for the NBA, which was the Celtics-Lakers Christmas Day game, only averaged 5 million viewers, while Thursday Night Football, which is shown exclusively on Amazon Prime, so cable watchers aren't watching this game, averaged 11.86 million viewers throughout the entire 2023 season.
Oh my God!
Let's get one thing straight. The NBA is never going to beat the NFL in a ratings game. But with the NFL working towards having a game every day of the week, unless the NBA wants to start their season in February, they need to start fighting back against this encroaching beast. Luckily, the seeds of the solution have already been planted. I present to you the NBA in-season tournament, aka the Emirates NBA Cup. And no, it's not selling out to China or the Saudis. They already tried that and it's not working. So this year's second edition of the tournament kicks off on November 12th and runs through December 17th when the championship will be played in Vegas along with the semifinals 3 days prior. And last year was a big hit and accomplished exactly what the NBA was looking for when they introduced the tournament, by increasing interest in games early in the season and injecting single elimination basketball into the NBA schedule in the form of 7 games in the knockout rounds. So for example, the Kings-Warriors game from last year's in-season tournament group stage, so this is before we get to the single elimination knockout rounds later on in the tournament, the ratings for that game were 93% higher than games from a comparable window in the previous season. And across the whole tournament, the games averaged 1.67 million viewers, which was up from the previous year's 1.18 million in an equivalent window. But more importantly, it was more than the 1.46 million that tuned into non-in-season tournament games early in the season outside of the opening week. My ratings are up ever since I started doing sports videos, so if you are liking the new videos or the new direction of the channel, make sure you like and subscribe and comment if you don't mind.
Ramses is the number 1. His legs are number 1. His eyes are number 1. His muscles are number 1.
So this all culminated in the Cup final, which averaged 4.58 million viewers, which was the highest for a non-Christmas regular season NBA game since 2018. Not only that, it was the second highest game in the entire regular season, including Christmas Day. So if they could pull that off on some Saturday in December, why would you play the highest stakes regular season game a week before Christmas this year in 2024 on the 17th, and then play meaningless early season games on the biggest day of the year? The Lakers and the Pacers were in the Cup final last year, and they got 4.5 million people to watch that. Like I said, on a Saturday in early December. Imagine if you moved that game to Christmas. I'm not suggesting that the NBA keeps the same format and just move the final to Christmas, kind of slide everything down. The numbers are undoubtedly a little bit better for the Cup games, the Group Stage Cup games, and the Elimination Cup games. But it's not a marked improvement. The whole idea of kind of trying to play the Cup with the regular season games, making them regular season games as well as Cup games, it's silly. It's the NBA trying to have its cake and eat it too. But just make a good cake. So here's my proposal, Adam Silver and NBA governors, if you're listening. Get rid of the group stage. Get rid of the entire regular season element of this tournament. It's not the regular season. We don't want regular season NBA games. We want meaningful games. Get rid of that part. Just make NBA March Madness in December a single elimination tournament starting 2 Fridays before Christmas and finishing on Christmas Day with the final as the marquee game. So we can all agree that the best games in any sport are win or go home. So if the NBA takes on with this proposal, not only is every NBA Cup game, win or go home, so much more important, but the build up to the final, as you see these teams fall off, favorites go away, underdogs rise, stories develop, It makes the cup final so much more intriguing. And then you put that on Christmas, which you already have established a brand on Christmas. You come back with a cup final. That is going to make the ratings explode, and you have something to fight back against the NFL. So the nitty-gritty. Here's how it would work. Teams would be ranked based on their finish in the previous year's cup, and we could keep the points differential thing they've got going now for the early round games to keep them competitive. But we want to ignore the East and West for this. We want to get some different matchups, start some different rivalries in this cup. First round games would take place at the higher seeds home arena the Friday and Saturday 2 weeks prior to Christmas. So you would avoid the NFL and just be competing against low-end college football bowls. The top 2 seeds would get a first round bye. The second round and the quarterfinal games will take place at the top 4 seeds home arenas, similar to a March Madness regional. And those games will take place the Friday and Saturday 1 week before Christmas. So, for example, last year's Cup semifinals included the Lakers, the Pelicans, the Bucks, and the Pacers. So Los Angeles, Milwaukee, Indianapolis, and New Orleans would all host second round and quarterfinal games. And the semifinals and the finals would be hosted by the NBA champion on December 23rd and Christmas. So this year would obviously take place in Boston. And now there is a scenario where a team would host both a regional and a final. But if you're good, you shouldn't be punished. Now for prizes. And this is the most important thing. This is what gets the players playing and the teams wanting to win. So currently, players on teams that lose in the quarterfinals get $50,000 each. Players on teams that lose in the semifinals get $100,000 each. Players that are on the runner-up team get $200,000 each. And the tournament champions get $500,000 each. I like this. It all stay in place. There's only one change. We're adding a third place game. So if you win the third place game, you get $150,000. So we get those players to still want to play in that third place game. But wait, there's more. I want this to be taken very seriously from top to bottom of organizations. So for teams, there's going to be prizes as well. The winner would earn the right to host the All-Star game in the following season. Not only that, they would get to take their second round pick and move it to the top of the round, regardless of where they finish in the regular season. And the second place team would get to host the losers' Final Four, which will be played on the 23rd and Christmas, with the teams that lost in the quarterfinals to help kind of fill out the Christmas Day schedule. So if the stated goals of the NBA in-season tournament is to boost ratings early in the season and inject single elimination games into the NBA schedule, this does exactly that. And as we see the effects of the NFL's Grinch move trying to steal Christmas,
clearance sale, everything must go.
This gives the NBA a viable weapon to push back. In order to accommodate this into the schedule, the NBA would need to drop from 82 regular season games to 76 because the max number of games a team would play in the tournament would be 5. So I'm sure some owners or governors would push back against losing the gate from 3 home games during the regular season, but it would also help one of the NBA's other biggest problems, which is tanking. Probably more than anybody, the owners are incentivized to win in this proposal. All 4 semifinalists receive 3 high-stakes home games in the following season's NBA Cup, and second place actually receives an additional 3 with the losers' Final Four. Not only that, first place wins an all-star weekend and the 31st pick in the draft. They're all worth playing for and are very important in team building as well as making some fucking monies.
What are you charging for that?
He doesn't like to discuss
I don't
money.
like to discuss money.
On the other hand, if you lose in the first 2 rounds, you're done. And you get an additional week, if not 2, of rest, which could come in very clutch for an older team looking to make a finals push. And let's say you do win the NBA Finals. You're going to host the 4 biggest tournament games and probably the 4 biggest regular season games, regardless of where you finish in that year's NBA Cup. It does a lot of the things that the NBA is needing right now. Number 1, it makes games matter in the early season, at least some of them. Secondly, it gets different matchups on national television and gets to show a league full of stars. There's so many good players out there that aren't getting nationally televised games because they fucking play on shit teams. And it adds different strategy to the NBA. There are going to be teams that are going to say, we probably can't do anything in the playoffs. Maybe we'll get there, but we're not getting to the finals. So we are going to say our number 1 goal is to win the NBA Cup. A young team like OKC, my team, or the Pacers like they did last year, if they can make a run in the NBA Cup, not only does it establish those players as prominent in the league, but it can get that city 3 major games in the form of a regional. Or if they can pull off a win, they can get an all-star game to their city based off of what they earned, not because the NBA just needs to pass around the all-star game. And then you can get them a high second-round pick. And one of the biggest problems in the NBA right now is load management. And this gives a little bit of a solution for that. If you want to rest your players, here's 2 weeks. Lose the first game, get out of the spotlight, and you go rest and get ready for the rest of the season. But you can't have fans paying big prices for tickets to games or having these primetime games and you don't have the biggest stars in the game because it doesn't make sense strategically to play your best players 82 games in the season. You need them there for the playoffs. So it's not a perfect solution, but after a 30% drop in ratings on the biggest day of the year and the NBA still trying to find rivalries in a post-Warriors-Cavs league, why not swing for the fences and go all in on the purest form of sports? Win or go home. Thanks for watching that video. Make sure you like and subscribe. And if you liked it so much that you'd like to see another one, I have one right here that's about the college football playoff and the changes that are coming this season. Up here, we've got one about the top 25 poll from last week. And right over there, you can go ahead and subscribe. Other than that, we'll catch you next time. See ya.